Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Thank you guys so much for checking out this banger of a video. I would appreciate it a ton before we get into it if you dropped a like on it real quick. Helps out the video and my channel a ton. And consider checking out the first link in the description below, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. Obviously, that's my Twitch channel. I'm going to be streaming there a lot more often in the near future. So check it out. That'd be dope. Let's get into it. Some more big news coming out today was this tweet from Eros, where he did say that also mentioned today by Injustificado. This is one of the main guys for Esports Maniacos. You know, he says in Esports Maniacos here, Bwipo will not be a part of Fnatic for the upcoming 2022 season. Eros obviously does say that this was first mentioned by Wooloo, and I actually covered that in a video yesterday, maybe the day before. I don't exactly remember when the video came out. I've been recording so many videos and uploading them at, you know, seemingly random times because Worlds has been throwing off my normal upload schedule and everything. But this is some very big news, you know, because what we saw from Wooloo previously, just to give a little bit of a recap, is that Wooloo said the rumor was the future of Bwipo at Fnatic is currently uncertain. He said that this player was going to be exploring free agency in several roles, as told by several sources. And that is a much different tone than this tweet by Eros, when Eros says that Bwipo will not be a part of Fnatic in 2022, period. Now, to me, when I, looked at Wooloo's tweet and when I broke it down a little bit, to me it read like Bwipo will not be returning to Fnatic when you take into account the fact that he admitted he was upset and frustrated with the Fnatic management and how they handled the world situation, the world scenario. How, there was a lot of stress and a lot of bad things going on behind the scenes. And the fact that he was then also going to be testing free agency, and the fact that he was a free agent. His contract is expiring. He still hasn't re-signed. If he saw himself as a Fnatic player long-term or loved the situation, loved the spot he was in, whatever, he could have always re-signed. Now, again, the interesting part here is where Wooloo talks about, he could potentially be a jungler or a top laner. That gives him a ton of different options, a ton of different flexibility. I talked about this in the other video, how it gives him a ton of leverage in contract negotiations and stuff. He can pit more teams against each other. He can, get teams competing. He can say, this team wants me as top. They're offering this much. Oh, this team, you need a jungle? Well, how much are you going to offer? He can really have a lot of different options and stuff. Now, there is a lot of debate and talk of whether he's going to play jungle or top. He wasn't that great of a top laner in spring of 2021, but historically he's obviously been a very good top laner, both domestically and internationally. Now in the summer split of 2021, he was a pretty good jungler domestically. He even went internationally and had a pretty good showing as a jungler. So I think there are going to be a lot of teams that are interested in him at both positions. Teams that need a top laner will surely be reaching out. Teams that need a jungler will surely be reaching out. He's also going to have a decent price tag because he has a big brand, he's popular, he has a big personality, but also he has options. If he doesn't get the right offers, if he doesn't get the big money, he can go stream. He can be a caster. He can be an analyst. He can maybe even be a coach and still make a lot of money, and probably have a lot less stressful life. So, for everything to work out for Bwipo, I think it probably needs to be at least a decent team because, this is a guy who's historically been a winner. He hasn't really been on a terrible team. He's a guy who's very competitive. He wants to compete for titles. He wants to compete for worlds. You're also gonna need a competitive roster, and you're going to need some money. So that's gonna knock a lot of teams out right away. But I will think it's gonna be interesting. He's going to be a very big free agent. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes. He's going to have a lot of different options. I know I talked about before. Some people think he'll stay in Europe because he likes Europe or because Europe is better than NA and they give him more chances to win. I say, it's probably not the best idea to keep speculating about his relationship and keep bringing his girlfriend into everything, but being realistic, that is a part of everything that's going on. His relationship does matter. Would his girlfriend want to move to the United States? Would they do long distance? Would that be successful for them? Is that factoring into his decision? Because, if I'm thinking about it, if I was in a committed long-term relationship and I, was potentially going to move halfway across the world for my job, I would talk to my girlfriend about it or whatever. Those conversations would happen. It would be part of the discussion. So, some people are going to say that's weird, or, you're a relationship Andy, or, whatever the hell people are going to say. But I do think that needs to be included in the conversation, in the discussion. But obviously, other than that, there's a ton of reasons to go to North America. North America, you're going to make more money. North America did better than Europe at this most recent World, so maybe they would give them more chances to win. And also, there's potentially going to be some big North American teams that are going to have some openings. I know we were talking about this on stream a little bit about where we think that Bwipo could potentially end up. I'm trying to find it real quick, and some of the names that people are saying, G2 has been a name that keeps popping up. People are saying, hey, G2 likes to steal old Fnatic players. Hey, G2, they've got an opening in the top lane. Could Bwipo come over to G2 and be their new top laner? They have the money. They have the brand. They are a pretty good team. It seems to make sense in a lot of ways, but I don't necessarily think so. Because, again, Bwipo was not the best top laner in the spring of 2021. And it seems like G2 and BB are, really far along in their negotiations and in their talks. And I don't know if G2 is just going to back out on BB to go get Bwipo. That doesn't seem super realistic to me. Some people are saying Rogue, and I actually think that could be kind of interesting because I've been talking about this, how Rogue is a talented team. They have some very, very good players. During the regular seasons, they've been great. At moments in playoffs and in best of fives and stuff like that, they've been great, but for whatever reason, they just come up a little bit small, a little bit short in the big moments. They almost won a championship in the spring. They, maybe could have won a championship in the summer. They almost got out of groups at Worlds, but they just kept not doing it. And in this playoffs, they went, had an 0-6 run, all these weird moments. And Bwipo is a guy who has that winner's mentality, has that winner's attitude, has the history of winning, has a history of stepping up in big moments, in the playoffs, internationally, at Worlds, all these things. And I think Rogue could really, really benefit from having a guy like Bwipo into the team. Now, I think there is some conversation to be had about, in 2022, is Bwipo a better top laner right now than Oduwamne? I don't know, but just not even in terms of just straight up gameplay, in terms of everything else, I think the team could really use a guy like Bwipo. Now, I think Rogue would also benefit from Wunder or Mickey or somebody like that coming in. But I think that Rogue Bwipo is not totally out of the question. I know some other people said, some of the North American teams, people are talking about 100 Thieves, TSM. If Alfari leaves Team Liquid, could Bwipo go to Team Liquid? I think a ton of these different options are on the table. And that's why I think Bwipo is going to have, a really, really good choice about where he wants to go. And he's going to make a lot of money in doing so. Now, again, I can't wait to find out more. I can't wait for more of the story to develop, for more of these rumors to come out, to see, is Europe more likely? Is NA more likely? Is Jungle more likely? Is top? But to me, and what some of the rumors have said, is that Bwipo does want to make a return to top lane. Kind of like the Perks situation, where Perks role swapped, had some success, but still he was like, I'm a top laner, or I'm a mid laner. I'd like to go play mid. It's what I like to do the most. I think Bwipo could be having some of that. He obviously had a very, very good, split as a jungler, but does he have that top lane itch back? Is that really what he likes to do? Because you got to like it if you're going to make yourself practice and put all this time into it, all this work, all this energy, all these hours. So I think we could be seeing that. We also did have a couple of these tweets from Apple. Here's what Apple has heard. He said, prior to the commencement of the 2021 World Championships, Bwipo told Fnatic that he would decide to return based on two factors: whether Hylissang returns and the World results. So one of those things happened. Hylissang signed a 2-year contract extension. But obviously, in terms of the World results, things went almost as bad as possible. The team went 1-5. There was drama behind the scenes. Bwipo got mad at the Fnatic management. He does say that outside factors outside the game impacted the World situation. That does seem clear. It is quite likely he will return to top lane. However, he is open to all roles in any region. So, maybe he is willing to go to North America. It's sad to see his moments of Fnatic ending in such a tense time of unbelievable pressure, but I wish the best for him as he enters the biggest free agency of his entire career. And yes, it's just going to be a weird time. Fnatic without Bwipo is going to be something new. It's going to be something weird. But again, there are a lot of signs pointing to Bwipo being gone. But there is still a lot up in the air. There is still a lot of question marks, but it's going to be very interesting and very exciting to follow.